Alright, so in this tutorial I want to show you how to stitch a simple Ankara top. Now some persons will be asking how the sew Ankara is the same with senator, and the answer is yes. You get, no matter the fabric you are given, you must make sure you pay due attention to it and follow the whole processes. So the same way I cut and fold and gum my senator's fit is how I also made this Ankara. Nothing different. So you have to watch to see the stitching process. So the fabric I'm using is just a fabric. It's not just because it's Ankara. So you can still adopt this method in your regular senator sewing. So right here we have a black facing. So now this black facing is just to blend this properly to have an additional color. And also be in mind that you can still make use of the same fabric in making such facing. So this one we have a flap and we have neck piping all around. So you don't need to use the facing to seal the neckline or whatsoever. So when you have gummed, I use hairstay in gumming this. Hairstay was applied here, then folded half an inch on both sides. Then you carefully start your threading or your stitching process. So thread at the tip of the facing, right? And then make sure that everything is balanced. So like I said, this is going to be the same process if you are making a senator outfit. So you carefully stitch all along this line, making sure that the facing is being held firmly. You stitch all along that line. Stitch all along this line. So you're also going to stitch from here as well. You stitch from here as well. Stitch all through this way. So after sewing these parts, you will go and iron the facing so that everything will be relaxed before you proceed to the next stage. So let me get iron and then I'll come back to proceed. So now I have ironed the facing, then we trim out the excesses coming out at this point. So now you have finished the ironing. So the next you will do now is to fix the flap. So you have to go and get the midpoint of it all. Make sure you iron. It's very important. You must iron this to get the midpoint. So you carefully fold this neckline to lap, then iron and get the midpoint. So once you have gotten the midpoint, you make sure everything is properly arranged. Then you are going to cut out from the neckline. You are going to cut out certain inch. So how do you do that? Measure from here 6 inches deep or 6.5. Then give a V notch at this point, a V notch downwards, the quarter inch in, right? The quarter inch in, and then cut out this portion 0.2, or just cut out something of this nature, less than quarter inch. This is what it looks like from here. You have this look, then you open it up. Remember, you have already prepared your flap and everything. Then you bring the smaller flap, the one that will be on the left side, this area. So just stitch it. Now I just folded it this way. Remember how it's all done. So I think this is a bit shorter than what I need, but then I will still use it to still work. Then place at the inside, then stitch and fling over, stitch and fling over on the right parts of the outfit. So stitch and fling over. Cut across. Then fling it over this way and top stitch. Top stitch. So cut your threads, cut your threads, threads. So this is how it looks like. And then the next you will see now will be on the second flap. That's this one, the bigger one. Same process. Turn it over from the front. Place it inside or inward, just like this. Make sure you are stitching from the point where you have, left for the folding. So just carefully arrange this and stitch from there. Stitch from there. Cut your thread. Cut your thread. Then we'll turn it over from the inside this way, and then start somewhere here to start stitching for the closure of the flap. Stitch is how you achieve a neat finishing on your outfit. So your fabric you're making, whether Ankara or senator material, you can go all the way this way to achieve this. You can go all the way this way to achieve this. At this point, you now arrange this to flap properly, just like this. Make sure it's at the center, and then you stitch. Then you can now decide if you want this flap to cross at the midpoint or you want it to end somewhere here. It's not your choice, or you want it to lap exact of this area. So whatever you decide is what you're going to make. And this is more professional, so I'm going to reduce it a bit, just like this, and then folding it in this manner. So making sure it's at the center as well. Then stitch. Stitch properly. Then we will arrange this in this way. Make sure that the flap, everything is properly arranged. Then you stitch it down. You sew it down from here. You sew it down. Sew all through this way. So now when you are sewing all of these things, you have to bear one thing in mind, that any clothes you are making, it doesn't really matter the type of outfit, the style, the material, everything you are sewing in life, as a tailor, must be neatly done. That's the trick to get more customers. Because if you say because it's Ankara, let me sew it anyhow, you end up spoiling your image, your reputation. And once people know you as someone that doesn't produce good outfits, even on Ankara materials, they will not feel free to patronize you even when you're sewing cashmere or any other bigger fabric. So this is it. Then right there, you can now trim the neckline to lap properly. You see that? Then you also do an iron. You iron and come back and continue.
I grab my sketch and make the line. Patterns flow like vintage wine. Dress in colors bold, refined. With fashioned art I'm intertwined. From the canvas to the screen, styling dreams like you've never seen. Textures blend in harmony, creating fashion symphony. Hey there folks, don't be shy. Hit that like, subscribe, apply. Comment down if you feel fly. Mr. Redefined is standing by. Outfits popping in daylight, mixing shades to feel just right. Drawing styles that take their flight. Fashion spark ignites the night. Threads of inspiration spin. Come on in, let's just begin. Every clip a world within. Join the flare under my skin. Creation flowing like a stream. Fashion bold and never mean. Unveil magic from our dream. Every sketch a fashion theme. Come on in, let's just begin. Every clip a world within. Join the flare under my skin. Creation flowing like a stream.